game is called Perfect Date. Perfect Date. Purrfect. Date. Okay, I got this off Qmailer. It was given to me by bossa Studios. It's a visual novel. It's a dating sim. It's a dating sim, and you just wait until you see what this involves. You just wait. Okay, let me launch it. This might actually be the first of today's games that gets more than one stream, or gets more than like whatever hours. That I take seriously, I guess. Okay. This is probably gonna be loud as fuck. I was right. Oh, I didn't see it. Perfect date. The Bay team. Okay. Hopefully this is good. Music is kind of loud, but maybe I'll turn it down. I don't know. God damn. You can progress the story by hitting either the space or enter buttons. Okay, left clicking. If you're feeling a little spicy, you could even progress the story by left clicking this icon. Rest to restore your health. Running out of hearts may have consequences. Finishing 3 research events will result in the completion of your contract, ending your current chapter. So make sure you've done everything you want before finishing your research for the professor. Keep an eye out for anything odd. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but it might lead you to some fun extras. Okay. Who do we want to pick? Wow, these names are not good. These are the whitest names. Interesting. Okay, let's pick this character. And we'll name her Deshauna. There we go. I'm a genius. Oh, it won't let me capitalize it. Okay. Shauna. There we go. Ha ha ha, cat devil. Well, what do we have here? It looks like a human. It smells like a human. And I'm sure it will taste like a human. And yet, it calls itself a devil. How is that even possible? All the universe, above and below the earth, knows that I am the devil. The one and only, the original and everlasting. You sniveling, lying, trembling creature. Allow me to school you in the ways of hell. You call yourself Shauna, and yet you and I both know that is a lie. You are my minion, Aubrey. Doxed. You are in my domain now. There is only one voice to listen to, one authority to be obeyed, one will to serve. And I am the master of everything. But, Aubrey, I am a sporting devil, too. It would be so easy to crush you into internal damnation right here, right now. But where's the fun? So this is what I'll do. You have a chance. A slim one, at redemption. Answer the following question correctly, and you may escape my clutches for now. Do your worst, horn dog. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. Chapter 1. I'm not sure how long we've been sailing, but it feels like forever. I'm not feeling too well now, so it's a huge relief to hear the deck lads shout. Island approach. Make yourself ready. I'm finally here. When I applied last month, I was just another broke student living off of baked beans and didn't really think I had a chance of being accepted to be part of the prestigious Cat Island research team. Yet here it is. The little black dot in the distance, growing bigger by the second, is the infamous Cat Island, the place I will call home for the next few months. My heart momentarily skips a beat. What if there's been a mistake? What if they accepted someone else's application and accidentally sent the offer to me? I rummage about in my bag until I find the papers. Oh, I fucking... No one saw that. I clicked by accident and I couldn't read it. Please, this is tragic. DP Corporation. Dear Shauna, we are pleased to be able to offer you the position of research assistant to Professor Popper at our research facility on Cat Island. The position will be for an initial period of 8 weeks. Your contract will be sent separately. We look forward to working with you. Yours sincerely, Professor Popper, PhD. Okay. No mistake. That's my name, right there in the top left-hand corner, Shauna. And there's his name at the bottom, the genius behind this whole operation, Professor Popper, science genius, and my new boss. I look up from my papers to... Fuck. As we get closer, we're not slowing down, and I begin to worry that we're going to crash into them. Then, at the very last moment, we take a sharp turn to the left, and suddenly we're sailing smoothly towards a jetty through an opening in the rocks. I blow out the... Oh my god. I keep clicking so that it will put all of the text on the fucking screen, and it skips. The ferryman comes out from behind the steering wheel, ignoring my attempts at camaraderie, and shouts rather brusquely, "Take all your belongings. We won't be back for days, so don't leave nothing you'll need." Thank you. I smile weakly at the ferryman and his son and pick up my bags, ready to disembark. We glide seamlessly up to the wooden jetty, and the son leaps ashore to tie us off. He's greeted by a bulky man in a uniform, who I take to be a security officer of some kind. I love the art. Joe, sir. And then he laughs loudly as though he said the funniest thing he's ever heard. It's very disconcerting. The security guard remains surly and turns his attention to me. Let's be having you then. He holds out his large hand, which I assume is an offer to help me off the boat, but as I reach out to take it, he snatches it away, throwing me off balance so that I almost fall over the side. What a great start. ID card. Oh, I see, of course. I reach into my back pocket and hand over the laminated card I was given on the mainland. He barely looks at it before striding off, grunting over his shoulder. This way. I follow him down a dirt track path and get my first proper view of the island. It's beautiful, lush and green. I'm already under its spell. After no more than a couple of minutes of trekking, we're in base camp, which consists of an assortment of tents and huts. Among them are 2 more solid-looking structures, one larger and one smaller. I presume these are the labs. The whole camp is moderate but functional. It reminds me of an army outpost. I'm struck by the lack of people. In fact, there's no one around apart from an older woman sitting outside, peeling a pile of potatoes. I smile and give her a little nod, but she just stares back at me. I try not to get paranoid. Here. He stopped at the largest of the tents, indicating that I should go inside. I feel rude just walking in, so I make my presence known first. Hello? A firm but friendly voice calls out. Come. I walk in, and there he is, hunched over some documents, the great Professor Popper. Sir, it's an honor to meet you. Yes, you must be Shauna. Come on in, my dear. Glad to have you on board. Good journey? Well, long. Yes, indeed. We're rather tucked away here. Let me offer you some refreshment. Water, coffee, something stronger, perhaps? Whiskey? It would be rude to let you drink whiskey on your own. Jolly good. I can tell you and I are going to get along famously. He takes a swig from the bottle and passes it to me. I try not to show my self-consciousness and surreptitiously wipe the neck with my sleeve before taking a modest sip. It will take you a while to find your way around and discover how it all works. So for today, I thought I would just get you kitted out and maybe introduce you to some of the locals. The cats, that is. I believe you've already met most of the human locals. Oh, I've only met the ferryman and the security guard who brought me here. Yes, that's about it. And the lady outside? Miss Marigold. Her and her husband are the caretakers. Wonderful couple, the Marigolds. You'll meet them before too long. We're a tidy little family here, Shauna, and I'm sure you'll fit in nicely. Thank you, sir. I hope so. Okay, so first things first. This is your basic kit. He begins going through a pile of things on his desk, explaining each of them in turn. This is your backpack. You can put everything in it. We will be going on plenty of field trips, so it will be very useful, as will your own water bottle. Some disinfectant hand spray. These are heavy-duty reinforced gloves, which are essential when tagging cats out in the wild. Damn, it started pouring. Chill. Don't want any scratches from felines we don't know now, do we? I suppose not. I shove each item into my new backpack as he gives them to me. Likewise, these goggles are to be brought along all field trips. This lot here. He indicates to a small pile of what looks like laundry. His basic uniform, lab coats, masks, stethoscope, etc. Portable first aid kit, camping knife with all tool attachments. Finally, and without doubt, most importantly, this. He holds up something that looks a lot like a mobile phone, except it clearly isn't one. This is your catalog. Catalog. Yes, the name comes from its earliest version. It was initially designed to record and store data on the cats, scan them, and log their details. But as you see, we've come a long way since then. Now you can use it to communicate with the rest of our team. I've added everyone's contact details for you. Listen to music, take photos. There's even a pen that comes with it to insert microchips into the back of the cat's necks so that we can keep track of them. It is a very valuable piece of equipment, Shauna, and I need you to protect it above all else. Do you understand? He is looking me directly in the eye and clearly expects a response. Yes, sir, of course. I will look after it. Good. You'll get to know all the functions as you go along, but for now, I suggest we take a stroll out and see if we can't find a few friends to introduce you to so that you can try it out. He hands me the gadget. I feel a bit nervous, taking charge of it, but also really keen to have a go. You're probably going to hear the rain. We head down to the beach, the professor explaining things as we go. The mixture of terrain on Cat Island is quite unique. Even in such a relatively small area, you'll find forests, mountains, jungle, beaches, woodland, all of these different geological and ecological zones in one place. It really is most remarkable. It certainly is. Even the lack of wildlife is in itself quite remarkable. What do you mean, Professor? Well, put simply, there is a type of force field that surrounds the island, disallowing anything to enter. You mean literally anything? Absolutely. No birds, fish, or creatures of any kind can penetrate it. Forgive my lack of knowledge on this subject, but, we're here. The professor lets out a disconcertingly loud laugh. I see what you mean. Well, there is, of course, one small break in this invisible wall, and that is where we built the jetty. But let's not get too bogged down in all this right now. What was that noise? It's fucking pouring. What you do need to know is that basically the island is shaped like a peanut. He has picked up a nearby stick and draws a simple map in the sand. This, our end of the island, is very well known to us now. We've been researching here for many years. The other end is not so familiar to us. We've encountered difficulties that have hindered our progress in the region. Oh my god. What type of difficulties, Professor? Well, we're not as sure as we'd like to be, but what I can tell you is that the environment has an adverse effect upon humans, inducing nausea at the very least. And at the worst, fainting, migraines, possible nerve damage. Gosh, that is serious. As I say, it's best to keep away, but let's not go into all that now, my dear. You've had a long day. For now, let's just say that we refer to the far end of the island as the danger zone, with good reason. I must ask you not to put yourself at risk by venturing beyond this mountain range here. He refers to the map once more, drawing a line just past the center and an X through the end section. There are wild, aggressive cats out there. I wouldn't want you getting close. Who is calling me? Stop. I don't know you. Okay, somebody called me. They had the wrong number. I don't want you getting too close to them. Unlike our lovely fellows closer to home. I think this will definitely be a game that I'll actually stream. He has led me to a spot where a few cats are lounging about. What do you say we try out your catalog now, Shauna? He stoops down and picks up one of the animals, a disgruntled-looking cat who was sleeping under the shade of a palm tree. The cat lets out a displeased mewl, but doesn't struggle. Its large body, billowing with long orange fur, just sort of hangs in the professor's arms in lazy resignation. Would you like to have a go at scanning this delightful chap? I find the on switch and somewhat timidly activate it. The gadget immediately comes to artificial life, emitting a boop 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 sound with a red pulsating light. I select the app labeled Cat Scan and it loads instantly. There's no delay on this thing. The professor holds the cat towards me with arms outstretched. I'm sure he said the scanning chip is implanted into the back of the neck somewhere, but it's difficult to find this one's neck amidst the thick cloud of fur. I blow to make a parting and press the catalog to his skin. It's a bit like scanning groceries in the supermarket where I used to work. That should do it. And he plops the marmalade tom back into the shade. Sure enough, upon withdrawal, I find the cat has been successfully scanned. Meow. Floofy butt. Floofy butt, gender male, age 10 years, 4 months, breed red tabby, Persian, eye color red. Amazing. Clever, isn't it? A large part of your job here will be to tag and scan the cats, such as Mr. Floofy Butt here. But it looks like you'll have no problems at all in that area. Excellent work, Shauna. Thank you, sir. I can't wait to get started. Well, why don't you get a bit more practice with the catalog and scan the rest of them while we're here? These 5 spend a lot of time together. They're like a little family, aren't you? Oh, yes, you are. The professor seems to be a genuine cat lover like me. I think we're going to get along great. Okay, here goes. No help this time. The professor steps back. The first cat I approach is very friendly, with beautiful calico markings. It comes towards me, already purring. Meow. Trixie. Gender female. Age 3 years, 8 months. Breed calico American. Short hair, eye color green. Next is an elegant, sleek, hairless cat sitting gracefully in the sun. She doesn't pay me much attention and allows me to scan her with minimal fuss. Meow. Snooty booty. Gender female, age 11 years, 1 month, breed Sphinx, eye color blue. The fourth cat I approach is a noisy one. McMurphy, meow, 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 meow. McMurphy, gender male, 6 years old, brown, crossbreed, and green eyes. What's up, Leo? And finally, the one I've deliberately put off until last. He's been skulking around the edges of the activity, eyeing me Excuse me. What the fuck? The biggest ant just crawled on my fucking monitor. The biggest ant just crawled on my fucking monitor. Dog. I know you see me, dog. The biggest fucking ant, dog. Uh-oh, I missed him. Where the fuck did he go? Oh no, now I'm gonna suffer for that. I'm gonna suffer because I missed him. Where is he? Where are you, little fucker? God damn, that bitch was huge. Excuse me? Excuse me? Hello? Hello? What did I do to deserve this? If that wasn't the biggest fucking ant. Fucking cunt, bro. Sorry, I hit my mic. Yo, fuck these ants, dog. I got these little ants. I got the little sugar ants. Then I got carpenter ants. Like, I'm gonna burn my house down. But not really, obviously, because that's not an option. I got fucking carpenter ants in my room. Like, can it be winter? Can it just be winter all year round? Like, please. I would really just prefer if it was winter all year round so I wouldn't have to put up with this. Fucking Christ almighty. Christ almighty. It's fucking hot. Sorry, I was not expecting a giant ass fucking ant to just crawl on my monitor. Like, bro, I'm in the middle of something. Do you think maybe you could put this off for later? You fucking nosy ass bitch. I laugh at myself already projecting personalities onto these animals. Hiss. Kibbles. Oh my gosh. Kibbles. Gender male, 3 years, white British long hair, and green eyes. All done. I hope you enjoyed meeting some of the locals. The professor lets out a little laugh. I have a feeling you'll get to know them quite well in time. It's probably enough for your first day, don't you think? It's quite a lot to take in. I am suddenly exhausted and grateful to be heading back to camp. Carpenter ants bite, don't they? Sorry. That was probably ear rapey. Excuse me. It's quite late by the time I've unpacked and settled myself, but I want to write my journal entry before I sleep. I'm surprised at how chilly it is. I have pulled my sleeping bag right up to my chin, but I still feel goose pimples. Pimples? Bloom over my arms. Shivering, I rub them to warm myself up. It makes me smile to think that this inherent reaction to the cold is what will be keeping my new feline friends warm tonight. My eyelids close, thinking of cats and the island and the professor. The world around me drifts away as I float up into a dream. I'm not sure how long I've been asleep, but I awake with a violent jolt that leaves me sitting bolt upright. It's too dark to see anything, but I hear a rustling. And then a strange electronic noise, one that in my sleepy confusion I can't place right away. Boop, boop, boop. The catalog. Acting on instinct, I scramble to my feet and follow the noise out of the tent. I look around me, and my fears are confirmed when I catch sight of a pulsing red light, getting fainter in the direction of the forest. I snap into action, running as fast as I can. Barefoot, dressed in my pajamas, running at full speed into the forest in the dark of night. I must be crazy. The words of Professor Popper are ringing in my ears. I need you to protect it above all else. My legs are trembling beneath me. I stop, feeling my heartbeat, heavy throughout my body. I wheeze in and out, my breath billowing in front of me in white puffs. I shouldn't feel like this. Why am I so dizzy? I try to get my bearings and realize I've blundered perilously close to the danger zone. I can just make out the shapes of some large animals in front of me before my eyes close and I drop to my knees. What the fuck? I open my eyes. The calico cat I scanned yesterday is sitting in front of me. She drops the catalog at my feet. Don't fight it. I pass out. What the fuck? Hello, can you hear me? Are you okay? What is it? Don't be ridiculous, Kibbles. It's a human. Oh yeah, yuck. I can smell it now. Smells like a human. Oh, do be quiet. Are they alive? Of course it's alive. It's breathing, you imbecile. Why isn't it moving? Would you come on and give them some space? Move back a bit. Yes, stand back. Move out of my way. Let me have a proper look. I begin to come to. The Sphinx cat is standing over me as I open my eyes. We stare at each other for a moment while I try to take in what's happening. Is this one defective? Oh, I feel sick. I'm gonna puke. The cats watch me intently. Am I going insane? Ouch, my head. What is it chattering about? They're scared and confused. Let me talk to them. Human? Are you alright? You. I remember. You took my catalog. Oh, but I gave it back to you. It's back in your pocket now. I try to reach into my pocket and realize my hands are scratched to shreds. Ow, ow, ow. What's wrong with my hands? I try to stand. Ow, my feet. What happened? Yeah, I guess that's all. That's from all the climbing. I told you it wasn't ready for that. What's that? Ready for what? Its anatomical structure is far too delicate. I tried to slow it down. Yeah, Floof, you try restraining a human who's that determined. It was like a margay. Its anatomical structure didn't seem that delicate to me. I was like a what? Doing what? You made your own way back to the beach. Okay, but that doesn't explain. I show my bleeding hands. Ah, you crawled. Kara. Kara? Who's Kara? That's not my name. It's a term of endearment. It's an Irish thing. It's inappropriate. Wait, I crawled. You sure did. Like a cat. Yup. All the way from the mountains. Like a bleeding mountain lion. Impressive. But why? Because you got the sickness. Shh. Maybe you should sit down, human. We need to have a talk. Possibly a long talk. Talk? Yeah, that's right. Since when can cats talk? Oh, for goodness sake. Since the dawn of time. How else do you think we communicate? Stop splitting whiskers, Major. You know full well that what the human is saying. I think the revelation here, Kara, is that you can understand us. Yes, that too. Will someone please explain what the hell is going on here? Well, we don't fully understand everything ourselves, at least not all the details of how this works. I think being stood in a forest, surrounded by a bunch of talking cats, is about as much detail as anybody would want. I agree, and more to the point, we were rather hoping you would be able to help us. You are the scientist, after all. What we do know is that the clock has started ticking for you. What do you mean? Well, there's no easy way to say this to you, Kara. You'll be catified. I'll be what? Whether you help or not, you don't have a lot of time before. If I may, it would seem, and we are basing this on our own experiences to date, that when a human manages to find themselves in what I believe you call the danger zone, they are vulnerable in ways that they previously were not. That is to say, you're screwed. You're not helping. Don't make me... Whoa, mountain lion. There'll be no violence of any kind. Forgive me for being a bit panicked here. The vulnerability to which Snooty Booty was referring is simply put, if you are bitten or scratched by an elder cat within the danger zone, you will begin a process of change that ultimately will result in a full feline transition. Catified. So basically, you're telling me I'm a cat? I look down, and in amongst the scratches on my right hand are 2 distinct puncture marks. The reality of my situation descends on me like a cold mist. Basically, yes. My head is spinning. This is too much for me to take in. Take a breath now. You're not looking so good. What? Have I started to change? I feel my head, ears, fur, everything seems to be normal. No, I just meant you're looking a bit shaky. Understandably so. I take a few deep, steady breaths and calm myself enough to say, okay, so why, how, what? Give me some data. What have you got so far? Look, we'll answer anything that we can, but the truth is, we have more questions than answers ourselves. So you said you need my help. What exactly would that entail? Well, finding our friends would be a start. The cats on this island, they're going missing. We don't know what's happening to them, but the body count is rising, and we've hit a wall. A wall of ignorance, maybe. Really, how many times do I have to tell you? The Muellers are to blame. Muellers? Now, floofy butt. There is no need for name-calling. Speaking of name-calling, I'll remind you to call me Major, madam. Look, they can't help the way they are. It's lack of breeding, you know. Overbreeding, if you ask me. Again, Muellers? They're the elder cats, the island originals. They can't speak the way we can, hence the derogatory term, Muellers. And how are they to blame exactly? Well, if I knew that, there would have been no need for this elaborate kidnapping. It's hardly proving to be a roaring success after all. Look, Kara, all we really know is that we are no longer safe on this island. The elders who live within the danger zone are hostile towards us. Not sure why, it's just always been that way. And now because cats are being taken, nowhere else is safe either. You expect the occasional mishap. We live in an undomesticated world here after all. But lately, cats have been disappearing almost every day. Even the last human we catified went missing. I'm sorry, what? Let's not open old wounds, Kibbles. Yes, onwards and upwards. Well, first things first, this cat thing? Catification, transition, whatever. How does it work? Time passes, then you transform into a cat. It's a gradual process. It's different for everyone, but you won't just turn overnight. The clock is ticking, however. The first side effect of the transition is being able to understand us. Well, some of us. Not the elders, obviously. Not all the domestics either. Then you have the whole heightened senses thing, the increased agility, the crazy body hair stuff. Let's not worry the human with all the details just yet. I assume there's an antidote. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed in that assumption. Hang on, you said there was someone else you would put in this position? Well, let's hope you're a better bet than they were. Unfortunately, they weren't able to discover an antidote or get our friends back. I know where their notes are, though. Really? Trade, huh? You help us, and I'll give you their progress reports. So what do you say, Kara? Will you help us? Help the kitties. Not much of a choice, really, is it? Afraid not. Okay, fine. So where do I start? Is there anything you can tell me that will help me track down your missing friends? Will no one listen to sense? Start with the Muellers, and I'll eat my hat if it doesn't end there too. Don't mind him. He's set in his ways. We have every reason to believe the abductions take place in your part of the island. Yes, nowhere near the danger zone or the elders. Well, that doesn't make much sense, but I suppose nothing does around this place. My catalog starts beeping. Oh, my alarm. I have to get to work. You run along now. We don't want you arousing suspicions with your people. You can meet with us later. I'll make sure those reports are in your tent before this evening. Thanks, Kara. You're 1 in a million. I imagine the odds are far greater than that, given your new health status. Go. And thanks from all of us. After a rather painful journey, I am very grateful to finally limp into camp. I have just enough time to get myself tidied up for work and am about to peel off my filthy pajamas when I hear my catalog beeping. I have a message, but I can't tell who it's from. It's not from any of the contacts that Professor Popper programmed into it. In fact, there's no contact information at all. Are you sure it is wise to trust everyone, anyone? What on earth does that mean? Who is that? There's a lot you don't know. Think carefully about who you confide in. Before I can think of a reply, the messages are gone, and my catalog has no record of them. I don't have any time to think about this right now. I need to get ready. As soon as I'm presentable, I head over to the lab. I'm 10 minutes late. It doesn't give a good impression on my first morning. Ah, Shauna, good to see you. I was beginning to worry. Did you oversleep on your first day? I'm terribly sorry, sir. I think the traveling and all the excitement of yesterday. I take punctuality very seriously. He cuts across my apology. Not to worry. It's perfectly understandable. You'll find I'm quite relaxed about most things. As long as you get the work done, I don't much mind what hours you keep. Thank you, sir. So shall we get started? My goodness, what on earth happened to you? He's looking at the scratches all over my hands. Oh, I fell and tried to save myself by grabbing onto a bush. I'm afraid I led you astray last night. Not everyone can take a double malt. How's the head this morning? I decide it's easier to play along. A little bit fuzzy, but it won't affect my work, sir. I really oughtn't drink spirits on an empty stomach. We ought to get those hands sorted out, though. They look pretty nasty to me. He goes to the tall metal cabinet in the corner and takes out a bottle and some cotton wool. He begins cleaning and tending to my hands while he talks. For today, I'd like you to help me with a few tasks around the lab to get the hang of things, but from tomorrow, I'll let you make your own choices about how best to carve up your time. Of course, you are primarily here to carry out your job as my research assistant. However, try to make the most of your time on the island. Once your work is completed, we'll be saying goodbye. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so don't waste it all in the lab. Naturally, I need your help around here, but I'd also like you to get your hands dirty with some field work. Make sure you spend time exploring the island. It's a beautiful place and there's a lot to see. Take the time to get to know the cats. A full understanding of their behavior is crucial to our research. There is plenty to see and do. However, you must be careful not to overwork. Take regular rest and relaxation. We don't want you to burn yourself out now, do we? I'll try to get the balance right. That's the spirit. So there you are. He's done a first-class job on my wounds, and they aren't bothering me nearly as much. I spent the rest of the day with the professor, getting to know how the various pieces of equipment in the lab work, finding out where everything is, and learning some of the basic duties I will be performing routinely. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I make my way to my tent. I'm about to flop down on my bed when I see a package poking out from underneath it. It's the reports that Kibbles promised to deliver. The cats were right. The previous person barely made a start on producing an antidote. I'm gutted and worried. What if I can't do any better? Will I just turn into a cat? I decide that's not an option and resolve to get going on my own research into it tomorrow. My instincts tell me that the cats will be a good starting point. I have a feeling they know a lot, more than they're prepared to tell me. I need to gain their trust and see if I can get them to open up a bit. I'm sure I'll make more progress if I focus on one at a time. I'm optimistic that one-to-one sharing will prove fruitful. It's a small glimmer of hope. Tonight, I'm not fit for anything. I can barely even write in my journal before I fall asleep. The first morning of waking up on the island, I'm so excited to discover what the day will bring. Should I jump straight into lab research, or maybe it would be wise to start investigating a way to help these cats and find a cure for myself? Perhaps a good starting point would be to get to know the cats a little bit better on a one-to-one basis. What should I do? Rest, romance, research, recon. Okay. Is research? What's recon? Research. It said something about research. Actually. Wait, let me check real quick. It told me at the beginning of the game. It said, finishing 3 research events will result in completion of your contract, ending your current chapter. You want before finishing your research for the professor. Okay. So I do research last, basically. Recon? Recon 10. Secret source. A strange message in the middle of the night. Doesn't anyone on this island sleep? I hear my catalog beeping. I presume it's the professor. I tumble out of bed, half asleep, and fumble around looking for the device. I look at the screen, my eyes struggling to focus. The message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. They obviously aren't going to respond to my question. Should I do as the message tells me? Yes. My curiosity is roused. I have a feeling there's something important to learn from this stranger, so I throw on my clothes and crawl out of my tent. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? My catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. I'm not going any further until you tell me who you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. By now I realize I have walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest, I see something on the ground. As I get closer, it becomes clear that it's a small posy of flowers. I gingerly pick them up and notice that several of the flower heads are missing. My catalog beeps again. Follow the petals. And that's when I see the trail of little orange petals, the same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far, no turning back now. I begin to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out. Hello? No answer, louder this time. Hello? Who goes there? It's Floofy Butt. Major, is that you, Floofy Butt? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing at? Cavorting around the forest in the dead of night, causing a ruckus. Oh, Major, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help. And this can't wait until a civilized hour? I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating this. I've been getting messages from an anonymous source, asking me to follow them into the forest. Look, they've left this trail. Ah, Calendula marigolds, herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity, though some believe them to be symbols of cruelty and grief. Your knowledge is always so impressive, but I have to say on this occasion it's not very comforting. Floofy Butt goes striding off with purpose. Come along then, Shauna. Are we to follow this trail or not? I shuffle awkwardly behind him. Before the sun comes up, eh? We continue on for a short while and notice that the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more difficult to see them until eventually they seem to run out and we find ourselves at a small clearing. Well, it appears somebody has been playing a joke on you. I sadly agree. This has been nothing but a wild goose chase. Seems so, Major. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Let's get back to our beds before we waste any more precious snooze time on this fool. I turn to Floofy Butt and notice that his back is arched and his fur is puffed up, making him look even more floofy than usual. Something wrong, Major? You tell me, human. Does that pile of rocks look suspicious to you? Amongst myriad rock piles, I notice a small, contrived-looking cairn. Floofy Butt's right. It looks far from natural. That looks to me like it's asking to be inspected, Major. We'll get to it, Shauna. You're the one with the thumbs. I begin to dismantle the small mound, rock by rock. It's not until the foundation stone is removed that we find a manila envelope. Look, it's a letter. Looks rather large for a letter, my dear. I think you ought to open it. Here or back at base? Having got you this far, I think it's only fair that I have equal share of the spoils. Perhaps we should look right now, Major. As I'm speaking, I've torn into the envelope. Out with it. It looks like drawings. What sort of drawings? I'm not sure, but they look quite old, antique even. But do they have value, human? Probably, to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. Why would someone lead me to these? How do you know you were meant to find them? Because we followed a trail and it led us here. Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be a mere coincidence. I hardly see the intrigue in a few old scribbles. They show no artistic flair at all. Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on this island. Floofy Butt rolls his eyes. You really ought to focus more on the clues that matter instead of running around in the middle of the night on a wild goose chase. Let's head back before anybody discovers you're missing. I roll the drawings up and tuck them into my waistband. I will study them when I have more time. I think Floofy Butt is probably right, but I don't want to miss a trick. Get some rest now. Finally, a sensible suggestion. I head after Floofy Butt, struggling to keep up. I really need some sleep. Let's do more recon. Recon 4. That security guard I met when I arrived might be a good lead. Time for a bit of interrogation work. I've been staring at the back of his head for a long time now. Too long. I'm starting to feel creepy. I just don't understand it. All he does is sit in that chair by the dock, eating egg sandwiches and doing crossword puzzles. How does a man like that become the security guard for a place like this? As far as I can tell, his job consists of greeting the boat to make sure nothing unauthorized gets on or off of it, picking up supply deliveries, and occasionally taking a long, lazy lap of the island to make sure everything's secure. I wonder what he knows about the research that goes on here, if anything. He doesn't seem to be interested regardless. I decide it's time to get to know this island bouncer and to go join him at the dock. I sit next to Zane, me on the sand, him in that chair. He's not wearing his big coat, and the short-sleeved shirt allows me to notice for the first time how surprisingly muscular he is. I never truly thought of him as security in the bodyguard sense, but now, squinting at him sideways, trying not to stare too obviously, I begin to see him in a new light. I pluck up the courage to talk. Hey Zane, how are you? Are you trying to start a conversation? Your head looks like a potato. Or a squash. He says this without looking up from his crossword puzzle. Oh, I suppose I am, yes. I don't get to chat to humans much in my job. Research Assistant 125. He rolls the words out like he's reading them. Oh yes, I guess that's me. So what does the number stand for, anyhow? You don't know. He asks monotonously, eyes still glued to his crossword puzzle. No, actually, to be honest, Zane, I don't know much at all. Pfft. There's a definite lack of intel sharing on this project. Which project would that be? Boy, if you don't stop. This one, this whole research project that's going on. Is there more than one? Depends on who you ask. I was just asking you. I don't understand your job. I don't need to. Excuse me. I don't care about things I don't need to. What do you care about? Zane looks at me for the first time. You really want to talk, don't you? Well, there's not much else to do here. Besides, I'm interested in it all, aren't you? My interest consists of what's for dinner and when my next puzzle book's coming. When it's coming, you get it delivered. Comes with the mail. He's back to not looking at me again. The mail? You mean the parcels? And the letters? Yeah, the letters. He would go to the trouble of sending mail all the way out here when we have email. I laugh, but Zane looks very serious. It's safer sending mail the old-fashioned way. With email, there's viruses, hackers, worms, cyber terrorists. I get the feeling he's not very tech-savvy. Yeah, but anyone can open and read a letter, right? Not if I'm around. And besides, he would suspect that something important would be in a fragrant pink envelope. There's an awkward silence. Of course, being my usual socially inept self, I'm desperate to fill it. Need any help with that crossword? I'm pretty good. I can even do the cryptic puzzle in the Daily Inquirer. This line usually gains me a little kudos, but Zane simply ignores me. I decide to just come out and say what's on my mind. I mean, it can't make things more awkward than they already are. Zane, have you ever noticed anything strange going on here? Cats behaving weirdly? Zane suddenly looks up, his eyes locking straight on mine, unwavering and hard. No. Have you? Well, not exactly, but he is looking at me properly for the first time since we met. I have definitely captured his attention, but I'm too nervous to follow through. I'm just being silly. The lack of human company can get to me, gives me daft ideas. Such as, he's still staring at me, as though he's trying to read my mind. Sometimes when I'm out tagging, I feel they're playing games on me, like children, hide and seek, that kind of thing. Some of those cats may be cleverer than any of us give them credit for. Now it's my turn to be intrigued. In what way? They know when to stay out of the sun. You're going pink. The moment, if there was one, is over. I decide maybe Zane isn't the best person to talk to about my concerns. Feeling unwanted and slightly dejected, I decide to head back to camp. I stand up and brush the sand off me. What's the 5-letter word for solitude? Alone. Zane silently scribbles in his book as I leave. Okay, I guess I did all the recon. Guess so. Trixie and Kibbles have brought me to the ridge where the pools of colored water collect. We call them the rainbow pools. It's a beautiful day and there's a vivid rainbow across the sky. Kibbles is over the other side from me shouting, "Wow, look at this. Come over here." He sounds further away than he is. My hearing isn't quite right, but I don't mind. What is it? You need to see it. Suddenly I'm beside him. He's looking over the edge of the cliffs, and when I look down, the sea is further away than I expect. It's such a long way down. Do you see? And I feel a push from behind, and as I begin to fall, I hear Trixie laugh. Curiosity did what? And I'm not falling at all. I'm floating, light as a feather. Fly, little bird, fly away home. This is the best feeling ever. I'm going higher now, up towards the rainbow. I'm going to touch it. Mind you, don't get scorched by the sun. I feel myself being shaken. Humi, you really ought to go in now. It's too hot out here to sleep. I'm on the patch of scrub grass beside my tent. I was just having a moment of shut-eye in the sun, but I must have fallen asleep. Oh, thank you, Trixie. I smile at the calico cat as I surreptitiously scratch at the prickly heat on my legs. Which cat should I date? Snooty Booty. I'm splayed out like a starfish on the beach in my bathing clothes. It's a sweltering hot day, and I find it hard to concentrate on my work, so here I am. I let the cool sea wash over my feet and legs as I lay back on the sand. I hear a long, loud sigh coming from somewhere nearby, and I sit up to see where it came from. Snooty Booty, in repose under the shade of a palm tree, is looking about her with a concerned expression, one that I've never really seen a cat make before. I go over to her to see if I can help with something. Are you okay, Snooty Booty? She lets out another long, wistful sigh. To be quite frank with you, human, no, I am not okay. I cannot expose this delicate skin of mine to the sun, but there is something I need to retrieve from further down the beach. It is quite the predicament. Oh, right. Want me to fetch it for you? Oh, would you really be so kind, human? I would be very grateful. Sure, it's no problem. We can't have you putting that delicate skin of yours at risk, can we? Snooty Booty looks grave. Indeed not. Skincare must come above all else, don't you know? One must never expose one's skin to the elements, human. It really is quite aging. One must also never get stressed if one wishes to retain one's youthful aura, which is rather difficult on this frightful island. Oh, I know, believe me. How do you know? Are you stressed? Oh, no, that would upset me terribly. Really? That's so sweet of you. Of course, you really are a precious thing. I do so hope you are finding your time here pleasant. Don't worry about me, Snooty Booty. I'm fine. Now, what was it you'd like me to get for you? Well, before I tell you, I must ask that you don't inform the others of the whereabouts of this particular item. It is very dear to me, you see, and one of the few luxuries I have all to myself. Of course, that's no problem. I can be discreet when I need to be. I do hope so, human. You see, along the beach, just south of here, there is a tree which bears the ripest of coconuts all year round. It is quite splendid. The coconuts are always so sweet and creamy. Snooty Booty looks as if she's lost in a wonderful dream. Sounds lovely. It is. I like to drink coconut water as often as I can, as it is so good for the skin and waistline, but the less civilized denizens of the island keep knocking the coconuts down before they're fully matured. Fortunately, no one else seems to have discovered this particular tree yet. Well, okay, Snooty Booty. I'll try to find some coconuts for you. I'll be back soon. You have my thanks, human. I've been walking for a lot longer than Snooty Booty led me to believe. I'm not sure if this is even the right tree. They all look the same to me, although this one does seem to have more coconuts than the others. I decide to take a chance and bundle up as many as I can carry in my arms and haul them back to her ladyship. By the time I get back to Snooty Booty, I'm faint from the exertion, not to mention walking so far in the sun. I fall to my knees, panting in front of her. Here you go, Boots. She eyes the pile with a distinct air of disapproval. I only needed one coconut, human. Oh. These are far too many. Well, I do apologize, madame. Tell me you didn't plunder the tree. No, there were plenty on the ground already, so... Oh, well, that's a small mercy. At least you didn't hack them down. Hack them down? With what? Well, your hands are rather large and leathery. Snooty Booty, I do not use my hands for deforestation. Well, I'm sure you did your very best, although I really don't know what I'm going to do with so many coconuts. You're welcome, I'm sure. I look down at the pile of coconuts, and it strikes me properly for the first time how strange it is that there are no creatures on the island to plunder them. What do you think it is, Snoots, that keeps wildlife away from the island? Do you mean the magnetic barrier? Magnetic barrier. Oh, do keep up, human. I thought you were meant to be a scientist. I realize she must be referring to the force field that surrounds the island. Now be a dear and crack one open for me. With my enormous hands. Well, you could try, I suppose. I push down the irritation that is slowly rising in me and smile politely. On second thoughts, I'll be right back with a screwdriver. A what? Okay, it's a sharp metal tool that bores into things. What on earth do you need one of those for? So that I can make a hole to get the water out of the coconut. How else would you propose I do it? Well, look around, you dear. Look at nature's bounties. What about that? Snooty gestures with a limp paw at a shard of rock nearby. Snoots, how do you usually get the water out of the coconut when there isn't a human around? Well, the exuberant Kibble simply loves to break things. Had you not noticed? It's one of the few reasons I tolerate him, don't you know? Far better than one of your screw dribbers, don't you think? I reach over and pick up the rock. It does look like it could actually do the job. Okay, let's give it a try. Here goes. Holding the coconut in a palm leaf, I gently tap the shell a few times with a stone before finally whacking it. It cracks open surprisingly easy and the water drains into the leaf. There now. See how nature provides, human? Again, you're welcome. Snooty Booty stretches her neck and then upper body towards the leaf. She sticks her tongue out as far as it can go before raising her big eyes to me. I can't quite seem to... Let me help. I let her struggle for a moment or two before I begin to feel a bit like a child pulling the wings off of a fly. She can't help the way she is. You seem to be struggling a little bit, Boots. Well, you've placed my libation slightly out of my reach. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to help? Bring it a little closer, perhaps. Well, of course I would, human. Are you being deliberately obtuse? I would very much like to help you, Snoots, but you make it rather difficult. How? I don't understand. I've been perfectly clear in my instruction. You see, I am under a spell. It's a very powerful one, which prevents me from following any instruction unless accompanied by some magic words. Oh, would you care to enlighten me? Well, it would go something like this. Please, human, would you mind passing me my libation? Thank you very much. There is a pause during which I'm really not sure what Snooty Booty is thinking. Suddenly, the Sphinx erupts into peals of laughter. I seem to have forgotten my manners. Please do be so kind, human. I would be most obliged. Go on, then. I nudge the leaf closer to her, and she delicately laughs at it. I truly am indebted. Many thanks. That looks delicious. Snooty agrees without taking a break. You know, searching for those coconuts was thirsty work. I'm sure it was. She's still lapping at the water. Oh, my throat's a bit scratchy, especially in this heat. Snooty Booty finally comes up for air. Quite. That's the beauty of the coconut, you see. So hydrating and most palatable, too. You really ought to try it sometime. I look down at the now dry palm leaf. Yeah, that's a good idea, Boots. And the very best thing after drinking coconut water is to curl up and have a nap, you know. Beauty sleep is most important. I suppose you have other things to do now. Snooty Booty yawns and closes her eyes. I suppose I do. Sweet dreams, princess. She snores softly in reply. She's a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. But like low key, she ain't that nice. She ain't that nice. Did you name the characters? No, I did not. Wait. Oh, I can't date McMurphy because I picked Snooty Booty? Really? Wow. Okay. I did not name the characters. Snooty Booty? Snoots? I've been searching for the Sphinx for what feels like ages. For a cat that never seems to move, she's surprisingly difficult to find. I am answered eventually by an unintelligible murmur coming from the shade of a nearby tree. Of course she's sleeping. Snooty Booty? I poke at her gently to try and rouse her. I have something for you. A gift, as it happens. Oh, human, it's you. Whatever are you doing up and about this time? It's midday, Boots. Snooty stares at me uncomprehendingly. I have an hour for lunch, and I came to spend it with you, but if it's not a convenient time, I could always find something else to do. Wait, you mentioned a gift? Well, yes, I suppose. I had the idea when we were driving, well, when you were drinking from the coconut I fetched for you the other day. I took some of the remaining coconuts over to the lab and cooked up some coconut oil. Snooty Booty opens her mouth wide. I sit awkwardly staring at her, unsure what exactly she's doing. Well, I'm ready to break my fast, human. It's hard sometimes to know whether to laugh or spit with this spoiled feline. No, Boots, this isn't for eating. You mentioned how good drinking coconut water is for you, so I thought you might like some coconut oil to rub into your skin, keep you moisturized and youthful. Aren't you terribly clever? I can't help but blush. Snooty Booty rarely compliments anyone, so I feel honored. The only person I named was my character. I wanted to make her name Deshauna, but it wouldn't let me capitalize the S, so I just made it Shauna. You may begin. Snooty Booty lolls onto her back, exposing her plump pink tummy to me. Oh, you want me to rub it in for you? Snooty Booty simply smiles in response. Well, a please wouldn't go amiss. Yes, well, I didn't want to make a fuss, but I would prefer it if you asked first. I sigh. There's not much point in arguing with Princess Snooty Booty. I don't think she actually means to be rude. Sometimes she just doesn't seem to understand how to talk to people as equals. I don't have the energy to deal with it today, but I make a note that at some point she and I are going to have a little chat about etiquette. Please, may I rub this coconut oil into your skin? Yes, you may. Look at her face! I pour some of the pungent liquid into the palm of my hand and rub it together with the other. I have no idea what I'm doing, as I've never massaged anyone before, but I work along the lines of putting sun cream on a friend. As I touch the warm, loose skin on Snooty's primordial pouch, I'm struck by how delicate she really is, and I try to be as gentle as possible. Is that okay? You're very skillful with your hands, human. I do so wish I had those thumb things. They seem so useful. They're quite handy, to be honest, but paws are cool too. Snooty Booty lazily inspects one of her paws. Do my paws next, will you? Snooty's skin is reacting well to the treatment and has become shiny and pliant. I see the good it's doing. I move on to massage her paws, but I'm quite taken aback by the length of her claws. Oh my, Boots, your claws are really quite long. Don't you use a scratch post or anything? A what? You know, something abrasive to file them on. Whatever for? Well, it's part of being a cat, really. Stops them from catching on things. Snooty Booty is peering at me with one judgmental eye open. Caught on what exactly? Oh, I don't know, Snoots. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. Oh no, do go on. I'm intrigued. You seem to be implying that there is a degree of neglect in my grooming. No, I most certainly am not. You are by far the most high-maintenance, highly groomed cat I've ever seen. In fact, you are the perfect example of a sphinx. I'm a what? Sphinx? She's trying to get me to say perfect again. It's hard to keep my face straight. Absolutely perfect, Snoots. And you're an expert. Well, I wouldn't call myself that, but I've been reading up on sphinx cats, and you have all of the characteristics of a pedigree. It's very sweet of you to say so. Remind me, what would those be? I hesitate for a moment, trying to remember what pause for thought listed as the top features to look for in a sphinx. There was rather a lot of info, and I want to give her the best bits. Flatter her. Well, let's see. I have a feeling Snooty Booty would not appreciate some of the calming qualities of a sphinx, including wrinkles and pot bellies, so I decided to cherry pick and dress it up a bit. Sphinx cats are well known for their beautiful big eyes and high prominent cheekbones. Snooty Booty extends her neck and widens her eyes. She also appears to suck in her cheeks, which gives her the look of someone who's not wearing their dentures. It's very disconcerting, and they have a very shapely physique. This isn't strictly true. Sphinxes tend to be quite muscular, but something tells me Snooty Booty wouldn't approve of that description. She has now extended her entire body into what looks like a yoga stretch. I see. Go on. Their skin is soft, buttery. This is sort of true, because they don't have fur to soak up excess oils. Sphinx cats can become quite greasy. It is recommended that they be patted down with a cloth as part of their regular grooming. They're very regal. Regal? I'm not sure where that word came from, but Snooty Booty seems to enjoy it. Well, well, human. It seems you have a vast and accurate knowledge of my kind. I'm rather impressed with you. I blush. It's not often that she gives out compliments, but when she does, it makes you feel like $1 million. Thank you, Snoots, which prompts me to take what you were saying about my claws far more seriously. Do you think you ought to tend to them? In what way? The length. I believe you were suggesting they ought to be trimmed. I wasn't saying that, but I don't think it's such a bad idea. Perhaps I could help you with that. A manicure? What a marvelous idea. Let's say tomorrow, same time. I feel like she's played me. You really are most kind. Thank you, human. And with those few words, my heart is a puddle at her feet. Dude, we're falling in love with a cat. Excuse me? Hey, Snoots. Fancy seeing you here. Really? But this is my spot, human. I'm often to be found here. I let it go because I'm so excited about what I've brought. Pick a hand. I hold my fists out in front of Snooty Booty. Oh, a game. How merry. She stretches out her paw in the direction of my left hand. Ta-da! I opened it to reveal a piece of coarse stone that I cut up in the lab. Oh, what a lovely rock you have there. It's coarse stone. I thought it could work well as a nail file. What a clever thing you are. That's not even the best bit. Look. I opened the other fist to reveal my fantastic find. Oh my, what is that thing? It's nail polish. I found it in the lab. I have no idea who it could belong to, and honestly, I don't like to think too much about it, but I figured I could borrow it for 1 short hour without anybody missing it. And it looks just like your color. I squint at the bottom of the bottle. It's called Desire. I raise my eyebrows at the Sphinx. Oh, nail polish, you say? Show me, human. She said, okay, I thought I could try giving you a salon-style manicure, befitting a lady. Most sweet of you. Now, shall we sort the snacks and drinks first? It won't take you more than a moment to fetch a coconut, and then we shall begin. I can't believe I'm actually doing her bidding. You have to hand it to her. That air of entitlement certainly gets her what she wants. I'm back quickly and out of breath. Within minutes, we settle into our session. Tell me if this feels at all uncomfortable, Snoots. I've never done this before, so guidance would be most helpful. It's surprisingly satisfying. I can see why other cats might engage in the process of scratching at trees and rocks. I've always thought they were hunting for termites like little scavengers. I have finished her hind legs and am on the final front paw. This stone works really well. Did I tell you how I cut it in the lab? I don't believe you did. So how does this nail polish work? Is it like paint? I ignore her rudeness. Exactly. Paint it on and wait for it to dry. I've never painted someone's nails before, so this will be a new experience for both of us. I open the bottle and make the first stroke. Try to keep as still as possible. I think you'll find I am statuesque in my stillness. Your hand is less so. I know. Sorry. Your nails are just so tiny. I'm trying to color within the lines. What lines? Never mind. It's a human thing, I guess. I'm not sure I care for the smell of this nail polish. Really? I quite like it. Reminds me of pear drops. Of what? Oh, sorry. Another human thing. Wow. Look, though. Your paws look fantastic. Oh, my God. The long, sleek talons are glinting shiny red in the sunlight. Oh my, I am spectacular. She extends her claws momentarily and presses them into my arm. Not enough to puncture the skin, but if I tried to move it, it would hurt. For the first time, I appreciate what lethal weapons they could be. I must keep that in mind. So come on then. Pose for the camera. Oh goodness, I hadn't realized this was going to be a photographic session. How exciting. I'm going to have to remove that varnish before I go, so I thought it would be nice for you to have a photo. Remove it? The Sphinx cat looks appalled. Whatever for? Oh, Snoots, I'm sorry. Didn't I say I can't leave it on you permanently? It would impede the natural retraction of your claws. Then I shall leave them extended. You can't do that. Her expression darkens. I beg your pardon? I thought for a moment I heard you tell me what I can't do. Surely I was mistaken. Compromise. No, Snoots, you heard me perfectly well. I must insist that you allow me to remove it. Insist. Her forehead wrinkles with her raised eyebrow. I need to tread carefully here. Ask your permission. Please, may I remove the varnish now? But it simply does not make sense. Why do it in the first place? I know how much you enjoy things like this, pampering. I thought it would be a fun thing for us to share. You had fun, didn't you? Well, yes, but I certainly wouldn't have had I known you were simply doing it to taunt me. I wasn't doing it to taunt you, Boots. She seems genuinely upset. I'm sorry. There is an awkward little standoff. Her eyeing the rubbing alcohol, me eyeing her claws. I rack my brains to think of a way to compromise with her, perhaps if I tried appealing to her sense of style. I wonder if you'd like to try something. I don't know why I didn't do it in the first place, actually. I'm so forgetful sometimes. Just before I came to the island, there was a craze sweeping the fashion world. I can tell I've caught her attention. I read all about it in Bon Vivant magazine. Go on. It's a French thing, apparently. Snooty Booty cocks her head to the side. It's called the Pinky Flick. She's going for it. I feel encouraged. I'm thinking on my feet. All the celebrities are doing it. Doing what? Having their pinky nail painted while their other nails are left natural. Just one nail. She looks intrigued. Yes, it really does look so striking. Show me. Bullseye. I go to take Snooty's paw on mine, but she snatches it away. No, show me. I pause, uncertain of what she means. Then the penny drops. She wants me to paint my own pinky nail with desire. Gladly. I suppose I should have expected Snooty Booty to attempt to groom me at some point. Here goes. I swipe some of the bright red polish on my left pinky. What do you think? Looks great, right? I hold my pinky finger to the corner of my mouth coyly. Well, I suppose it does rather look fetching. I'll make a deal with you, human. I will wear my nails like this if you promise to keep yours painted for the rest of your stay here. It's a deal. I doubt that such a tiny amount of varnish will cause her too much harm. It will come off naturally quite soon anyway. Mine, on the other hand, is going to be more permanent. I can't wait to explain this to Professor Pauper. It's just a nail. Why would that matter? What? Hello? Excuse me? You can't paint a single nail? A single nail? Okay. I'm gonna switch games. This is definitely a multiple stream game. So I'll play this again. Lots of reading though. I just have to keep that in mind. Lots of reading. I mean, it's a visual novel, but like not all visual novels. I feel like most visual novels are just all reading, but some of them are voiced, but this one isn't. But that's fine. Just something to keep in mind.